Here's a couple of nice options I'd like to see. It's called zoom to mouse cursor. So if my cursor was over here on the right and I use this zoom wheel to zoom in, it zooms only where the cursor's at. Always have option one way or the other way. If I move my cursor over here, I'll just select this. This object does not even have to be selected, and it will zoom in where my cursor's at. So that would be a nice option. Another thing is when it conforms or you move points around and it's got deep crevices, let's say this was an eye socket, it moves all my edges up and down, tries to follow the contour, and that's not the way that I want my edges to look. Alright, another thing is when this gets, let's say this point here gets deeply in the crevice, sometimes it gets it's not visible, and I got to turn it like that to see it. Alright, Control Z that. Maybe have an option called flat mode. That way what you see is what you get. Another thing is I like to model and correct views with hotkeys to do like the left view, the right view, and the front view, and the back and the top. And maybe have a view mode, and that works good with the flat mode. Alright, like I said, the flat mode might be something when you want to start off with. Then when at the finished product, then maybe you can conform it. But I kind of like my edges the way what you see is what you get. Alright, now I'm going to do an option here for extruding. Okay, I'm going to have to fake it in this program because I can only works with faces. So we're going to pretend that I am selecting an edge. Alright, I'm going to click this option here. Alright, you can have options over here, and you can also use the options and cycle through them by tapping the space bar. Alright, you can see that I can widen it like this or shorten it. If I tap the space bar again, I can freehand it around like this. If I tap the space bar again, it goes in the it constrains itself directly the way the previous edge is facing. Okay, tap the space bar again and again, then I can come out, let's say something like this from the eye socket. Click, tap the space bar again to go directly in that, and double click to finish. Notice I'm not grabbing any handles as I'm doing this. It's just a clicking action. So let's just say this is the nose area. Alright, pretend I'm selecting an edge here. I'll bring this up here and we'll do this again. Alright, you can see I'm widening it. It's got a green line on the outside and a red one on the inside showing you where the center is at. So I want to widen nose. Click, 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 and double click. Alright, now I want to do an edge over here. Alright, now I can't fake it in this program, but I'm going to explain how this should work. Where it would keep the as you can see when I widen it, okay, they're overlapping. Okay, the left side should widen, the right side should snap to the point, something like that. Alright, alright. So basically I'm going to go ahead and tap the space bar, and I'm just going to fake something a little bit. So I'd select here, here, and here, and if I wanted to widen the bottom, alright, I'll just have to fake it. So the left, only the left side this time would be widened, and I would not have this gap down here. Alright, the way it would work is this would actually bring this one over here, then you would have it would be connected. All your points would be connected and welded as you're going down. So it's very quick, and I'll just do one more little demonstration. Like I said, it's just a clicking action, and once you activate it and tap the space bar. I can just click, tap the space bar again, click, 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 and double click to finish it off. Okay, I got another one loaded up here. This would be nice to have. It's called a starter plane. It's completely square. You can bring it out. It doesn't snap to the reference. It's pretty close, and you can scale it up or make it smaller and rotate it before you get started. And when you select, alright, when I start to the side here with the starter cube, you can have two options. Alright, one, if I wanted to click here, you can see that the on the first one I can drag it out long as I want. But with a starter cube, we're going to concentrate down on this first line here. The way you could have this option here is the points need to be evenly spaced. Like I said, I'm going to concentrate on the bottom line here, and it cannot pull out any further like this. You got to make it click before it can pull any further. If I clicked here and let's say it's evenly here, and I try pulling any further, it would not go. It's going to make you click. So then you can come around like this. This makes all my points in between evenly spaced apart. Let me zoom down here. I'm just kind of mimicking it. Might be a little bit off, but my points will and edges will be evenly spaced apart. Then you could have something like that. Another thing is option for in between. If I was to select here and down here, you can select anything between the two selected. Alright, this would be good for edges. Like if I was to want to bring this one from here to almost the bottom of the nose here and between it, then I could bring this out a little bit like this. I also have an option on the manipulator to straighten this out. If I want to straighten out a little bit or all the way flat, alright, so I can have it like this. And also if I want to extrude from here, then I could click here and extrude outwards, then zero that out right here. So that would be a nice little option right there. Another thing is be nice to have is let's go ahead and hide that one there. To have certain starter things like for the eye sockets, like if I wanted to just bring this out, I'm gonna have to bring this in the front here so you can see it. That's the way this works. Is, let me go ahead and delete that one real quick. I want to start right here, so I got to click and abort that so it'll stay out to the front. So my next one, when I click, it'll come out to the front. It'd be nice to have some starter things that you can do with lines for the eyes. I'll tap the space bar to, constrain it, round, or make it oval like this. And just the points, how many points I want. And we'll scale that down. Doesn't snap to the reference until you tell it to. That way if I want to extrude it, I could just extrude it like that. Another nice option would be good to have is let me show you here. Let's say I wanted to straighten this edge here. This would be the main source. The first one's clicked, and we'd shift click this one and between it, and anything between would straighten up. Alright, but when I do it in this program, the whole thing straightens up, but actually the line moves down a little bit. So let me just zero that out, make it flat. Then it would actually be up right where it's supposed to. The end points do not move. And it'd be nice to do it with multiple lines too, where you could select more than one and zero them out and have them also straight. Another thing is, I'll load up another character here. This would be another nice little option. This is like Polygroup. You would select any ones you want. So actually, if I wanted to select here, Control key and just drag across, I can highlight the ones that I want at Polygroup. They call it shading domain in this program. That way I can hide or show the area. And also anything that once I select it, it selects the whole thing. This is good, and it'd be nice to have an edge tool where if I was to want to select here, run the eye socket and bring it in and have a few more edges, then I could have that. As you can see, it still it filled in the hole in the center. It did not move anything. But the way that you got it is you got to start with the this one right here. Then if you extrude it, then you got to gap the whole hole yourself, which is actually a little bit time consuming. So if I was to extrude it inwards, let's go ahead and bring it here. I still got to fill the hole, okay? The other way that you wouldn't have to, okay? Because I'm extruding from the faces, not from the edges. So let's Control Z that. As you can see here, I'm extruding from the faces this time, not the edges. This would be nice also to have some kind of draw line tools, which you could have Bezier curve handles, and you could just actually just click. As you can see, it made a straight line, or I can click and drag and make curve lines. And these handles can be adjusted at any time on how I want it. Control Z that. Then you can just Control Shift click that to make them straight or remove them. Of course, you'd want them kind of evenly spaced and adjustment for how many points. Let's say this was the leg here, and I want to bridge this. It'd be nice to have auto bridge, or you could just loop it and bridge it like that. And also with the between, if I wanted to select here and here and here and here and between it, then we could bridge just in that area. This would be a nice little option also. It's called match source. Let's say I was working on an eye socket here and I selected the edges right here. Okay, everything that's in the path, let's say from this edge all the way up and all the way around, the outer rim here will curve to the same way this is. Okay, so all you do is you select this and click a button, and when you do, you'll have something like this. Alright, now it didn't delete any edges or points, it just made this one here and this one here, they just looped all the way around evenly, and in the same the path and the curvature. Also have an option, not an option, but if it's going to cross and cause a problem, to give you an error, because if I was to select here and all the way around and to match source, would be all the ones in here that would cause this to go flat. So it would be wrong to select this one here, because then that would be all flat and give you an error saying the lines are crossed. Alright, so the right way to do it is to select the main source here, click a button, then you get this one over here on the right. This will be a nice little option also, as some way to tessellate these edges. The way that you have it is when you start off and you split one right here and you go to the next one, it deletes the face. Alright, sometimes that might be useful, but a lot of times it visualizing it makes it a little bit difficult. And with this tool here, it doesn't hide any faces and deletes any faces as you're going around it. And if I try pulling to the next one, you can see that I can tessellate across these ones that I want at one time. I can do them one at a time or jump all the way across. This is also a nice little option. It's called Facet. And when I bring my cursor out here and hold the shift key, it'll snap to the point. As you can see, it's doing right there. It'll snap to the closest point. Then I'll hold the shift key down and start selecting. If I want to end here, I would just double click, but I'm just going to move all the way around there to finish this hole up. Actually, I'll double click here to finish. Then we got this face in the middle here. Alright. It's not a quad. Alright. Be nice to have an option where we could tessellate this by quads or triangulate or diamond. Alright, if I switch it to quads, it's gonna make some of them quads, but if I want to find out which ones are not, it'd be nice to have an option, a little tool, utilities, where we could find out our problem areas. These are non-4 point faces right here, over 4 point faces. Alright, so this will let me find out my problem area. Another thing is I select I like this drag paint right here to select my faces, and this is also a nice little option. You can convert points to edges and all that stuff. I like this border one too. Then you can just select the border right here, because sometimes when you select an edge and you try looping it, sometimes it don't go in the direction that you want. Okay, so that's pretty handy. Another thing is, let's Control Z this. Alright, now I'm going to switch this to triangle. Alright, and we'll use utility and select 3 point faces. Let's see here. I hit the wrong one. Here we go. And 3 point faces. Okay, a lot of people don't like triangles, but what's good with this program, if it is subdivided and it gets more geometry there, and we'll collapse DG, we will have no more 3 point faces. Alright, it converts them into quads. So you can see this little utility here. It is not highlighted anything, so that's telling me, indicating I got all quads here. Well, I can Control Z that, and if this was snapped to the reference, a good chance, if this was in the pupil area, it would probably be sunk way back in, and I would probably not be visible. Okay, it would be kind of hard to edit this. I would have to go ahead and hide the reference and do all that. I would like to see like an offset. Okay, let's say this was snapped to reference. This is 100%. I'll have an option where you can go by percentage. Alright, do I want it 100%, or do I want it offset 50%, or 25%, or do I want it flat at 0%, all the offset? That way I can I can see what I'm doing, because like I said before, if you snap to the reference, a lot of times this will start going back like this off and mess up the line, and this one will just go back into the corner here, and they overlap and they get real hard to see, and that's that's kind of not so good. Also have an option to offset the what's selected. So if I was to select some points right here, alright, then I would snap to the reference at, let's say 50% would be here, then let's say 100% would be here. Alright, now when I push it back, you can see I still got my edge in the front there. It's kind of right here. It could cause a problem. Alright, and when I kind of have it tipped, that's why you want it to work maybe in this area of being in correct view, because when I bring it straight forward in a front view, the right side looks just like the left side. And like I said, when you snap to the reference, sometimes these things get down in the crevices and they get kind of hard to see, and they look like they're overlapping. This is why it's good to have that offset to it. And if I want to offset this one here, this was my problem area when I had it just a little bit tipped. Now I can just set the offset to snap to reference to be something back, maybe something like the other one right about right here at 100%. Maybe make the first one at 50, maybe one at 100%. When you go into correct view, it still looks the same. It's a lot easier to work in correct views. Here's another little option that would help solve that too. If you have points that are beneath another point, alright, I'm going to bring this one down here, and where you get maybe a, let me zoom in here real close so you can see here. I'm going to take this point here and try hiding it and just do a little overlapping. Alright, now only point is visible is this one here. So if you could have an option to set the transparency of the mesh, then you could see your points. So I would see that point and that point. Then you could see it a lot better. And that's no transparency, then you can set it up and see it a whole lot better. Transparency, no transparency, transparency.